Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Neighborish Livecast. I'm Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, and with me, as always, are the people who make the Neighborish Livecast Neighborish, my very good friends, starting with today's resident feminine energy, the personification of Black girl magic with the velvety smooth voice, Miss Aisha. How you doing today?
What's up, David? How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't know why I was just yelling. I'm sorry. Anyway, and my man 100 grand, and I'm gonna just cut straight to it. I usually give you a long intro, but you act like you don't like it. So all I'm gonna say is just Mike. What's up, Mike?
Y'all? It's good to be here with all of y'all.
Yeah, definitely. And we have a great show for you today because our guest today is a young lady who I've known for many years. We met many years ago on the junior usher board of Mount Horeb Baptist Church. You remember that?
Woo. Junior usher board.
It was
Yes,
years ago. Well, I don't know. I doubt if she's still a junior usher, but anyway, since that time, she's gone on to become a proud graduate of Trinity University with a Master's of Science Administration in Organization Management, and from North Carolina Central University with a Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communications. She's also worked for the government and private sector, and worked as event coordinator for the multinational Ritz-Carlton Corporation. Today, she is one of the premier realtors in the DC area, working with Long and Foster, which is the largest real estate company in the Mid-Atlantic region. Of course, I'm speaking of none other than Cedrece Watson. Welcome to the Neighborish Livecast. How are you, young lady?
I'm great. Hello, neighbors.
Yeah.
I am great.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on today.
Definitely. I'm excited to talk to you about your journey and some real estate stuff too.
I was about to say, because this market is hot, baby.
Just having that conversation a little bit. Yeah.
God help you.
We're gonna get into it, but first, just a few things going on in the city, and the country, and the world that we need to talk about, and we're gonna talk about them right now. Now, Mike and I had a really introspective conversation before we started. We talked for a while about a couple of things. Now, I really wanted to go into the topic of critical race theory. Have you guys heard of this?
So this is the one where they have like the spectrum, where you can either be like essentially a racist to like white guilt. Like there's a spectrum or something. Are we talking about?
Well, that's one a part of some of the.
That is exactly what the fuck. Keep on. The word spectrum.
So
Go ahead, Mom.
that is a good way to put it, but it's deeper than that because it has a lot to do.
But let's not go too heavy because we don't have time for all of that.
Exactly, and that's exactly the conversation that we had.
Really? But that's an interesting topic. I wouldn't mind exploring that.
I have
because there's a gentleman.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Are you going to talk about the gentleman who GOP is loving right now? He's a Black guy, and he went off on not teaching his daughter about racism and having it in school. And it's like he ignored the entire movement. You do not get over a problem by ignoring it. And that's just
that's what Mike was saying.
My thought, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But is that the guy you were? Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack that.
No, you good. You good.
No,
definitely.
please jump in.
Definitely. We appreciate the opinions. That's what this is about. We like to have, conversations about stuff. So basically trying to get an understanding of it over the past couple of weeks, just because since I first
something they haven't done in the last like 4 decades. But
right. And so basically, as Mike and I were talking about it, that's what I came to understand, that there's so many different definitions of it floating around that the people who are arguing about it don't even really clearly have an understanding of critical race theory, of what it stands for. People are, going back and forth about some of the specifics of it as opposed to the idea or the theory as a whole. So basically what I understand, and maybe you guys know a little more than me, I'm gonna give like a quick little demo. You all right, Ish? I'm boring you?
You want to this, Jay?
I think my allergies, like this guy's been bothering me.
I do.
What's for you?
Anyway, but yeah, so the understanding that I had of it is basically the definition of the critical race theory is a theory that encompasses, I see Mike shaking his head. Anyway, a theory that race basically is a lot deeper than the superficial idea of it that most people have. So it encompasses, it's more all encompassing, including things like education, law, all the way down to our day-to-day lives. It basically is a part of every structure that surrounds us. And so understanding that idea of it, that race has that plays more of a part in our everyday lives than we actually assume that it does, that notion, and understanding all the minutia of it, basically all the little bits and pieces of it, is.
You didn't have to define minutia, goddamn. Let's come on, man.
I did it for you, Mike. I love you, but anyway,
that's fine.
Wow.
That's fine. That's all right. I'm about to fool your ass in a minute. I got you. All
right, but anyway, so basically, I've been seeing, like Cedrece said, people talking about teaching it in schools, and some people for it, but then some people having the argument that giving young people the understanding that of the full idea of it may put them at a disadvantage, because it may put them in a position to feel that because it's such a strong construct that there's no way to get around it, and so it might put them in a position not to try or to feel doomed, and that's I don't know.
And I think that's BS. Like, at anybody,
that's what I was about to say. I couldn't roll my eyes deep enough. Like,
right? Like, that's BS.
That's ridiculous.
Because you want these kids, and by kids I mean like the others, not just Black people, but you want them to be aware and cognizant of which their thoughts or words can be offensive and why.
Yes.
You still have people walking around in blackface talking about, I didn't know that was offensive. Really, my dude? You didn't know that?
2021. You don't know?
You exactly. And that's my whole thing.
I'm gonna piss in your mouth. Oops, I'm sorry. I missed the toilet. That's offensive.
Interesting analogy. I don't know.
Yeah. Mike got to take it too far.
I think the weed is kicking in, but go ahead.
No, that's the tip of the iceberg. I can piss way further. Understand that?
Anyway,
it starts in my, and I say that because we're talking about it's 2021, and I'm not even tired of the smack in the face or the piss down my throat from them. What I'm tired of is our inability to come together and see not only the writings on the wall, the writings in our spirit, the writings all over the place, but also we have been given some ways and some options of overcoming these things. The we shall overcome thing, it don't send chills down your spine no more, but it still does to me, because we have, and we will, because we ain't got no fucking choice. We have a choice.
Right. And I know that we have come a long way from, our grandmama days and before that, but I feel like we still have a long way to go, and having the conversation is just a start. And especially when you start people off young, like you start these kids off young, because racism is not something you're born with, it's something you're taught.
Definitely. Yeah.
You're going to learn lessons. What better place to do it than in school? And I'm not saying drill into anybody's kids that, your ancestors were bad and therefore you're going to be bad. No, just say, hey, this has happened. This is the results, or, the outcome of this happening. And this is how you can prevent it going forward, because
this
whole gap, this wealth gap is real. Right. And just switch it to real estate, but like how we are treated. And that also happened recently, like years, when we found out like the mortgage system is even rigged. Right?
Yes, all of it.
And and that's all. I think that is the greatest place.
No, you're on while here. You're not just a realtor. You're not on here because you're a realtor. You're on here because you can speak to certain truths and certain facts. Don't stop. Keep on. Okay. Because when we come up so uneducated with money, I'm trying to get it. Isha. I don't know how you just create a bank and all of a sudden this money means something like the fucking Federal Reserve, right? But in the new millennium, that's what pretty much going on. I'm sorry if I break it down to the smallest compound. But it's the fact that that's what it is.
Yeah, but they call it that, like the Federal Reserve, it's just a name. It means nothing. Literally nothing.
The JP Morgans and the Rockefellers, that was a lot of credit. The word is credit, what I mean?
Right.
So I mean,
so segue, just speaking about credit and like the critical race theory or whatnot. there is a podcast. I don't know if I sent it to David or not, but there is a
You send me stuff all the time. Let me see.
I do send you stuff all the time, really good stuff. But there is a reporter who expressly researches and does investigative journalism about the institutions in America, like the USDA, the Federal Reserve, loans, banking, all that kind of stuff, and how it has the racist undertones in those organizations and what they've done to people of color as far as to diminish our opportunities or prevent us from being successful in this country. So if I haven't sent it to you, David, I will. I think it's called The Reveal. Okay. So it's just interesting with Mike talking about the Federal Reserve. And I know now with our generation, the access to information we have now is amazing. You know what I mean? Like the moment they put the internet on your phone, it revolutionized like life as far as we know it, like truly. Like when it was on computers and laptops, it was still a classist situation because you had to have that. You had to have access to the internet. You either had to go to a library or you had to go, you had to have one in your home. But once they put it on your phone, game over. Game over.
Yeah. I remember right before that started happening, when I was going back and forth to New York, the guy that I was working with, he was talking about it because he was really into like the tech world. And he was talking about how that whole idea of having the internet on the phone would revolutionize is what I'm trying to say. I feel like I'm catching contact from Mike. But anyway, revolutionize.
It's some good shit.
Anyway, like, and he gave the example of like a guy working on his car. And even like you said, with the internet being on the computer or on the laptop, he would have to run in the house and type and watch it and then go back out and try to do it. Whereas he can have that phone in his hand and actually, do the job.
Real time,
access to information in real time. Exactly. That's what you always say.
You don't want that guy fixing your car, ladies. Sometimes
you don't.
That guy on YouTube trying to change your oil light and shit. No, I do it for a living. I'm trying to tell you.
Right. You say that to the ladies, like the ladies don't know because they women. That's what you're trying to say, Mike.
No, because I know you in your car. Dave got no tire tread on his car and brakes and shit. I
have to tell my personal business.
Like he know. I know. I just seen Dave for a tire 3 weeks ago. I shit you not. Am I lying, Dave?
All right. Anyway, so moving on though, Mike, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about Naomi Osaka. I said it wrong too. I knew I was going to say
Naomi son. Get this shit.
Anyway, Naomi Osaka. I want to get it right though to show respect.
I think that I would be crazy not to think the ladies that we have here haven't heard about what's going on.
Of course, yeah.
Please tell me, am I crazy? Like, did she not tell them how she felt? And then they said, fuck you, but they forgot she made 55 mil last year. And while she's trying to keep up all this mental stuff, she's still gonna be all right. Like, leave her the fuck, like, that's
Mike, hold on, Mike.
Utterly disrespectful. Like
Mike, give us some background though. What happened though?
I think the ladies can. The ladies can. I'm not crazy.
You're gonna delegate the responsibility. All right, Isha, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yes, what I read about it, she decided that in her doing, I think it's the French Open she's doing.
Yeah.
No.
Which one is it?
And she decided not to, right?
She decided not. And the Wimbledon practicing shit.
Yeah.
She said no. I mean,
yeah. Oh, I thought she was still participating, but she didn't want to do any press.
What happened was, what I read and seen was some days ago, she said, hey, the media and the conversation is a little much for me. And by the way, it's only mental health awareness month. and she says, I don't want to, partake in the conversation with the media at that time.
Yeah.
And they threatened
well, they find her.
Pockets.
They find her.
$13 grand to 55 mil. Miss Watson, that don't sound like that's not a lot, Am I wrong?
She's withdrawn. Yeah, so she's withdrawn. She withdrew from the French Open as well as with Wimbledon. Well, I mean, good for her.
Is it Wimbledon altogether or the practice?
I said Wimbledon.
Yeah, and Mike, earlier when we talked about it, you had mentioned the situation before with her and Serena, right? When they had their match, and just the emotion around that because of how the media had tried to pit them against each other, and it affected her a lot stronger emotionally. and to the point where Serena, you know, came to her, you know, comfort and spoke out for her, you know, in that situation. And so it's just,
I love that she did that too.
Wasn't that beautiful? I cried a little bit. Don't tell no fucking mind.
I love that Serena being the leader in the field. Went to the newcomer and be like, look, I know the pressures. I know what the media can do. And I just want you to know whatever you read, whatever you see, it's not true. I'm a person and I've got a heart. Like, and I can appreciate that. I really can.
Hey y'all, have y'all looked at the video back in the time where Venus's father is sitting there, but you know, behind her while somebody's interviewing her? She's about 14. And what happens is they ask her the same question 17 times, the same question, but like 16 different ways. And she, like the first 5, 6, 7 times, she's telling you confidently, no, I'm okay. I'm confident with what's going on. And finally, her father, you know, chimes in like, you heard what she said. Why are you trying to twist her brain, her spirit on? He went off because, and so from the outside looking in, oh, he's an angry. This man is listening to what's being asked of his 14-year-old child. And all she's doing is kicking ass and taking names at 14. And that's a problem, whether it be the color of her skin or her age, whatever. But nonetheless, he set you straight with, hey man, look here. You asking a little child big people questions, and she give you big people answers over and over and over again. Like, get the fuck up out of here with that bullshit.
The same answer and the same consistent answer. I don't like that we can be labeled as angry because we don't comply. Like with something respectful to us. That's not like, dude. No, I don't have to take your disrespect, and that doesn't mean that I'm an angry Black woman.
No,
I can speak to you in the same tone, but it's like,
I'm not.
I get angry. It's like, why? He trying to prove something. He like, now I gotta really prove this shit. Like, oh shit, what to prove it?
Man, but Mike, you've always been an angry Black woman. So I want to talk a little bit about
No, actually, because he's awesome.
Thank you. I think you gonna take that back.
Yeah, look, I was about to take up from Miss Cookie. I love Miss Cookie.
No, he always takes it back. He's good. I wanted to. So Aisha, I sent you the clip of Monique talking about the women in the airport and women shouldn't wear the
bonnet situation. I don't even understand why this is a conversation. Like, I didn't watch it because I didn't care.
Okay, but
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so, I'm just saying, like, I don't even know why it's a conversation. Like, I don't think you should wear your bonnet out in the street, but you're an adult. Do whatever. I'm not wearing my bonnet out in the street. And I used to be a bonnet savage when I was younger on base. Like, I used to wear my purple do-rag. I literally was called purple do-rag because I used to have it on all the time. But that was on at home in the dorms while I'm chilling. But out in the street, no, I'm not gonna have a freaking bonnet on my head. It's ridiculous.
I don't believe in going out in public and not, I don't have to be best dressed, right? I don't have to have on Sunday best, but I at least want to be presentable at all. So, I have to agree with that. And I don't think I'm not a fan of Monique, but and I can find some agreeable points to say. And I definitely agree with that. Don't come out the house like that.
So,
yeah, there's this whole subculture where you wear your pajamas, your furry slippers, like you got your whole nighttime at home, like chill attire out in the street, and it's at noon. It ain't even like you got up so early in the morning, like 3 a.m, and you're out somewhere. You're literally noon out, dressed like you don't care. And COVID's definitely enhanced it. Like, it's made it worse.
Yeah, I agree. COVID made everything.
I know I got 3 little girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 daughters?
Yeah, and as my eyes, remove themselves from one another in the morning, every fucking body got a damn bonnet on. It's like it's bonnet. It be conversations in the night. You see my bonnet? I don't know where fucking bonnet is. And so for me, I got longer hair than everybody, and I can and so I grew up around women who don't go outside like you going to bed, because you tend to invite things as if you was going to bed and you're not even going to bed. And I'm sorry, we come up in a society where you don't want your little girls accessible, even in their fucking attire. It just is, it is what it is.
I tend to be old fashioned. I really like when women were ladies. I like we were expected to wear skirts and dresses and heels and have a, you don't have to wear a full face, like a full beat, but you can, have on a stick, act like you cared when you woke up this morning to go outside. So I miss those days. My grandmother was a phenomenal woman. She always wore her skirt. She always wore dresses. And it had nothing to do with, her wanting a man or her, or a religion or anything. I want to feel good, and I feel good when I look good, and I look good for me. I love that. So that's how I approach it. That's how I approach it. It's a whole thing about what we're raising our little girls and our little boys to accept, to do, how to behave. That's important to me. I have a little girl, and I want her to always care about how she looks, how she feels, and what's going on, and just be cognizant around her. And what kind of attention she's bringing on herself based on, what she wears and stuff. Of course, it's nobody's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, we live in a society where they're snatching them. They're snatching them, and they're doing shit with them and to them that we might never ever want to know. I got 3 of them. I'm trying to. I had a little boy, and it's like you don't look around and not be. You cannot be on point. It's amazing how you go to the grocery store and your child can get felt up.
Right.
How to.
That's really scary.
Broccoli and shit.
I'm not laughing.
But Dave and I were talking about crimes of passion. Yeah, that's a crime of passion. I beat his brains because of that broccoli. It is what it is.
Yeah, he touched my yes.
So,
that I understand.
And when we were having the conversation earlier, I was saying, I feel like we all have that common thread of being raised by people who champion paying attention to how you dress and how you look, your representation of yourself. The way that it was gone about, and what I was saying to Mike is basically, I guess what Aisha was saying, you can't tell other people what to do. You don't know people's situations or their circumstances. And so the way she went about it, I think was a little abrasive and in air. And that's why she's getting the backlash that she's getting.
Those abrasive?
Monique, yeah.
Is it the message or the messenger?
The message, because I mean the messenger.
What do you ladies think? Is it the message or the messenger? Had it been, Cicely Tyson saying the very same things, will we be so,
Well, I mean, I think we're used to saying it.
If it were Cicely Tyson would have chosen her words and her tone carefully. I think that Monique is not well received in some of the things that she says because her tone is condescending, or her tone is.
She's still precious.
Let me tell y'all young bitches something. Like I don't receive messages. You know what I mean? I don't receive messages well. Like we can have a conversation. Like we can have a meeting of the minds. You don't have to insult me to get your point. So
I'm willing to admit it. I'm willing to admit it, and y'all might not admit this shit. I'm gonna say it. I have not gotten over or past Precious because no.
Precious.
I haven't got
the movie Precious.
No.
You still mad at Monique for Precious?
Oh my God.
It was a character she played, Mike. She didn't really do that to that girl. That was a terrible movie.
I have never seen Precious.
Don't.
Yeah, it was.
Don't.
It was, and it's people that love it, that it's critically acclaimed.
Who?
But
Aisha says don't. Aisha says don't, and I have seen it about 3 or 4 times, and I agree with Aisha.
Yeah.
I agree with Aisha because.
Why have you watched it that many times though?
Because I am Precious, motherfucker. It's been on TV. It's intriguing. Personally, I find it to be a powerful role, and for her to have had to play it, she had to take me there. She took me there, and I ain't never came back from there. So and I think a lot of psychologically, with giving, that nastiness, is what it is. Outside of, I don't know.
The weed is kicking in with Mike. So we're gonna.
I wish better for her though. I mean, I feel like even whatever happened in the past, I want better for her for real and her family.
Yeah.
Is he talking about Monique?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just making.
Nah, Precious. Precious. After the movie, she made it good. She good. Precious good right now. So, but the movie, oh my God.
Yeah, the movie was like weird because it was like the ending was just like, you know, she walked away into the sunset and everything's gonna be all right. But then it's like, no, wait, didn't she? She had like
it was a lot.
AIDS, it was a lot going on. Yeah,
Precious is like awful. It just don't. If you want to be depressed,
it was a little depressing.
Yes, very depressing.
No, that's not. But, I don't want to be depressed.
But so let's move on to some some happier topics.
Some uplifting.
Aisha, I put this one in here just for you. I watched the Swiss and Timbo versus.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was in Miami.
Just because like that music is like, it was so much of the music that defined like
the 2000s.
My 20s and and even a little into my 30s, you know. But yeah, just good feel good music. The whole vibe, the vibe of their whole versus like platform is amazing. Just because for artists to come together and spread love, even though, you know, it's quote unquote a battle, they really spreading a lot of love and showing each other a lot of reverence. It's cool to see a lot of people just having fun, and you know, not the depictions that we get so much of us being mean and rowdy, especially, you know, musicians and people in that industry and stuff. So it was a good one, man. I never heard anybody say who they felt won. Do you think it was a clear winner?
Timbaland. For
yeah,
sure.
Timbaland. I was to say like
you think so? I didn't think it was a clear winner. I think that I enjoy both. I enjoy both. Music is the soundtrack of my youth, of my college days. So it was for me to just say, yeah, it was one, but that, because I feel like equally got hits. They both work with amazing artists. And I love the trash talk between them. The vibe was good. I couldn't say, oh yeah, hands down, he won. Like I couldn't do it.
Well, I think more, for me, it's more based on, like, I agree with Ish, and just because Timbaland's catalog, like, and he's been in there a lot longer than Swiss, and so his catalog is crazy. Like, it was songs they was playing, I was like, I ain't know.
Yeah, you didn't know that was him, right?
Yeah, and then even some like Swiss had some too. Like, I ain't know they did so much Beyonce.
Yeah, well,
you know,
Beyonce
they both did a lot of and
Beyonce,
so
a lot of Jay.
Yeah, so but it was a dope one of the better verses that I've seen, and all of them have been pretty
amazing.
Good.
Oh yeah, all the ones I've seen after the first initial runs, you know, with Teddy Riley and Babyface, and after they got it
the
together.
Technical issues and things, they got it working. It was
they got it together. It was good.
Yeah. Did any of y'all see the Mayweather situation last night? I couldn't call it a fight, but
I fell asleep.
No, didn't see that spectacle. No. Didn't.
How did it go? I literally fell asleep. I started watching it. It was like, I'm knocked out.
What you got, Mike?
Paid for it and you went to sleep? Like really?
People don't pay for that anymore. What are you talking about paid for?
Excuse me. That one, asked her. She know where her money went last night. She went to sleep. It was. You know what?
Well, I'm gonna assume he won because I think if he lost, I would have heard about it.
Oh yeah, it would have been all over the news.
It was a draw.
Yeah,
it was a draw because it wasn't a typical bout where they count punches and things. It was if whoever could knock the other one down, and so neither one of them was able to knock the other one down, or it didn't. I guess Floyd Mayweather didn't really go for it because I mean he's got the ability to do it, but
he showed grace.
yeah,
knock his head off.
Right. So yeah, it was interesting, but it wasn't like a lot of people are upset about the whole draw thing just because, you know, they're looking for a clear winner one way or the other.
No,
but you know, that's why I'm not like a fan of boxing. I haven't been a fan of boxing since Mike Tyson days. Like,
it's been a long time.
I like to see that, hey, there was a clear winner. Like, I love his aggression and his, I know he ain't always like he biting people ear off, and that's not professional, not not sportsman-like, but I liked him as an athlete. I love him.
That's
still my favorite all the time.
That's that Northeast, that D Street coming. What was it? D Street coming. Like, I like the violence. No,
I don't. I promise I don't. But I and I'll leave it.
Okay. So we briefly spoke about the cicadas. I don't even really want to talk about
You
that.
don't want to talk about cicadas? It's only every 17 years.
But so we were just Mike and I were talking about how it's interesting because I live in Southeast DC and you don't see any of them. It's interesting that they're everywhere, but even the cicadas won't come to Southeast, and that's what does that say about the area of the
They
city
must not
that I
come to
live
Northeast either, because I haven't seen a whole lot, or maybe I just don't even pay attention.
Yeah, they're not in Spread Neck either, so I haven't seen them either, David. So.
But and there are places like so my uncle's in Gaithersburg, and my girlfriend's in Silver Spring, and they're like all of like everywhere, like deep, and they're just like, I don't know what it is about the hood that they just don't want to come to the hood. Maybe they know
there's more concrete than get grass and trees. Maybe I don't know.
All right, science.
Maybe that's it.
That's actually a good philosophy.
They need to nest and mate in trees and then return to the ground.
There's still tons of trees though. That's not it, and there were times, in the
Google it, Dave. I'm not bullshitting you, Dave.
you Googled this, you looked it up.
No, I was, first of all, I'm 40 years old. I remember being like about 9, I think, in like 4th grade. And to me, it wasn't scary because I almost dead. Finally, when I got out of school, I was in Greenbelt. But what happened was I was riding my bike and I kept hearing this crunch, crunch, crunch. I was like, well, yeah, I was like, this is some nasty shit. Like, and then, I had to go watch the news for a little while, and you learn in school. So I remember, I believe the last cycle, they really didn't really infest too much. And that's why I said, it was surprising everybody. The last go round, it was modest and moderate. This one, they out here.
Yeah,
they're a little deeper from what I hear. But like I said, I haven't really seen that many. It's been so I don't know.
Why don't you come up to the Midas on Central Avenue?
It's a lot of them over there. Nah, I'm good.
I was playing cicada baseball today. I swear to God, ass Dre. Cicada baseball.
That's interesting, Mike. Before we get into the interview real quick, I want to just acknowledge the loss of a great actor, Clarence Williams III, who passed away yesterday. He was 81 years old. He was, known for The Mod Squad and Tales from the Hood and Hoodlum and Half Baked and just a bunch of great movies, a bunch of great parts.
That was my favorite movie with him, because he played the heck out of that crackhead role.
My chops is hurting. My chops is hurting. Charlie.
He was in he was in Purple Rain. Was he in Eve's Bayou? I've never seen Eve's Bayou.
I don't think he was in Eve's Bayou.
Am I tripping?
I don't think so.
Okay, I got to get the official list of his accolades before I start lying about stuff. He was in The Matrix. No, I'm just
yeah.
Why I'm supposed to laugh at that? That's fucking mean, Dave.
That's not, anyway. But so with that being said, let's get into this interview. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, Cedrece. I appreciate you. I know you're a busy lady, selling houses all over the place. So to make the time to come hang out with us goofballs, I really appreciate it.
I love it. I'm happy you had me here. Thank you.
So I want to start with asking you about your choice of career path, because I know you've done a couple of different things, from event coordination to budget analyzing, to being a budget analyst, excuse me. So what was it about real estate that drew you in that direction?
Great question. So
I do that from time to time.
I know, right? So I got married, and I bought us a house. Well, we bought it together, but he was overseas in Iraq at the time, and I wanted to make sure that we had a home, when he came home. So when I bought the house, and it was a townhouse, but it was a condo, and I feel like a lot wasn't explained to me, or like my expectations were just over here, and what I was told was over here. And so navigating that home buying process wasn't totally bad. It was the after, like once you move into the home, okay, now we got this one, now we got that, now we got condo fees, and that can escalate. I got condo fees and homeowner association fees. None of that.
Wow. It was articulated, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, well, it's only $50. And I'm like, yeah, it's only $50. I can do that. Right?
Yeah, they didn't tell you it goes up.
Ain't nobody tell me that. I wasn't expecting that. I'm like, it's a new community, and I'm thinking it won't go up again for maybe another 5 or 10 years. That thing went, now my condo fees are like $250, and I think it increased to $300. Wow. My HOA fees are $52, and that's on top of the mortgage. And so it's like,
no, that's not fair. That's not fair. You just skip. Because right now, you making that shit work for you right now, right?
No, that's the thing. No, and I don't ever want anybody to get into a situation and they don't know what could happen or what.
So you in it. You have to be in it financially. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you to flip this property and keep moving.
Of course, it serves me, but you know what? I think that I'm gonna be so real with you right now.
You questioning her integrity, dude? Come on.
No. And no, but I want that, and I want that because
that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to learn.
But that's good though. That's a good thing. Keep us honest. Keep us honest. Keep all realtors honest. I don't want to sell you something for the sake of a sale. And explaining to Dave earlier, I didn't work at all in 2020. So my full-time is a budget analyst as a government. I'm a government employee, a budget analyst, and I love what I do. However, I got involved in real estate because I feel like there isn't enough education around it. Like people, they can go online and they can read about it, but where are the people giving you the real? Like where are the people? Okay, this is what you can expect, and this is what you. know. So I have had people tell me I have talked myself out of a sale, and I'm like, okay. At least they know.
Yeah, you were honest.
And then, we didn't, with that one particular client, she was like, well,
they'll come back to you.
House. We ended up buying another house later outside of that community.
They'll come back to you.
Yeah, and she did.
She trusts you. She trusts you.
So, and I appreciated that. So I can be a little bit selective about who I work with. Thankfully, because I have a full-time job, but I'm really in real estate because I love it. I love the art of negotiation. I love driving around the houses and wasting all my gas. And I know that sounds just ridiculous, but
that's hilarious.
New homes and seeing, okay, they got that set up because that's how I want to set up my house. I'm just getting like the best part. Like I was working with a family, and this woman, she was divorcing her husband, and she had like 6 kids, like twins and like a whole bunch of kids. And they were looking for a home and they had to have it by Thanksgiving. Y'all, when I tell you the day before Thanksgiving is when we went to close, and I didn't even know we were going to, because it was just like their inspection. They had it was so much stuff going on that week, but we got it. And she was able to move in. I met her deadline, and just the look on the kids' face when they was like, yay, because we had been to house after house after house. We put an offer in and didn't get it. So when we got her house in Landover, Maryland, I was just like, yes, I did good. I did what I was supposed to do. That's my thrill. That's my thrill.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And I don't.
Can I ask another real question?
Yeah.
How much needs to be invested to make garner a return where it's worth to continue to flip? So you sell a house. I'm not going to ask you what you made for it, but what you put into it, spiritually, physically, and whatever, and gas-wise. So my wife and I have been discussing this. I'm the salesman. She's the brains. She's the heart and soul. She's the engine. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I can sell. I've been selling on my whole life. So what I'm asking,
I want to talk about your selling, Mike. We're going to stay away from that because the police are watching. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so as a realtor, our commission is 6% of the purchase price. All right. So again, being honest, like I can choose that though. I can choose to charge 7%. I can choose to charge 5%. I can't go below 4%. As
y'all, did you
Slow down, Mike. Think about what
no,
you're saying.
have you ever sold anything? There is there's a high, there's a low, then there's burn. And when you burn it up, when you burn it up, that's your ass, Mr. Postman. You know what I mean? But so you said 4%. Okay.
Yeah, you get 4%. So, and that can depend on like what the sale is. So right now I have a contract that I'm waiting to ratify this week, and it's probably my biggest sale. It's over $1 million, and it's the biggest sale that I've had, like most, and it's a commercial. It's commercial.
Okay.
But my residential homes, I think the highest home that I sold was maybe 650. Yep. And before that, 5 in Silver Spring. And I'm trying to think, because like I said, I did not work last year. I wasn't messing with the pandemic and going out and showing nobody and going and just mingling with people. I'm very close with my mom, and I was just afraid because one of my girlfriends, she lost to COVID, and I was like, well, I can't.
Oh my goodness.
It hit too close to home for me for that.
Yeah.
But I of course, as a realtor, and of course as somebody trying to make money, you look at those things. Like you want to get the clients that have the money or that has the funds to buy the bigger houses. But also, like realistically speaking, even though PG County is the richest county in America, or sometimes I feel like my people need to get their credit up. They need to get their savings together instead of buying those Jordans or buying those Gucci shades. Make sure you got that money in the bank. And so I don't mind taking the time and introducing my clients to financial advisors, or making sure that they have those things to prepare them for the process, because it is rigorous. Like you will need closing costs, down payments, EMD, and if you're looking for a $300,000 house, your EMD is going to be 1% of that. So that's a good $3,000 off the break. You're going to need that. You're going to need anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000. And you can, of course, pull that out of your retirement and out of your savings. But surprisingly, not everybody has that. Not everybody has that available. I've seen people pull out stuff.
I can't pull that out of my savings. I would have to rob the bank to get that. I would have to go in there with a mask on, and everybody get on the ground. That would have to be for me.
Everybody has a mask on, Dave. Everybody.
You know what I meant.
You gotta take your mask off.
And that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I have clients just waiting for them to, because I'm ready when you are. And that's I think that's been my biggest challenge. I don't mind working with low income, or working with, because I think as a people, I want us to get wealth that get the wealth that comes with home ownership. I want that for us. So I don't mind.
So I want to take it back. Oh, I'm sorry, Ish, you had something?
No, I'm just gonna concur with that, because I know a lot with the millennial mind frame. I feel like there is not necessarily like there is a lesser desire to be homeowners. It's like, oh well, I'd rather travel, or there's this creation of a lifestyle that is temporary, versus not understanding the vehicle that real estate is when you're talking about wealth and wealth creation in America. But
that's true.
Yeah. And there are nice apartments now that
luxury apartments. Luxury apartments.
Okay. They have the amenities, they got the doorman, they got the swimming pool, they got the rooftop decks and stuff. And so they're like, I might as well just move into something move-in ready and don't have to worry about it. Because, of course, with the house, sometimes you have to move in and do work. And so a lot of people don't want to do that, and they pay for convenience. They pay for those luxury apartments in the nicer neighborhoods, and they'll pay the $2,200 a month or $2,500 for a damn studio. I mean,
which is
that I'm not judging.
But that's a nice home that you can own. So there's that.
Exactly, because over 30 about it, that not even including taxes and insurance, but Like if you're putting $2,200 a month over 15 years, imagine what you could have bought.
Right.
If you had just studied yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's I think of it. So I purchased my first home with my ex-husband in 2007. And then my second home, I don't remember. But I my mom's home, and that was something that was great for me, and that's something that I wish a lot of young Black people do, because everybody got a grandma house in Southeast or in Northeast or in somewhere. Why do you let your grandma sell her home? Why don't you buy that from her? Why don't you buy that from her and do something with it, rent it out, or that's wealth.
Family.
You're giving away your legacy.
Especially look in the city, like right now, how valuable property is in the city. Like I stay in Southeast, and it's my family home, and I'm here, and I promise you, I get calls and texts and emails daily. I don't even know how these people got my information, but because the houses on my block have been bought, a few of them have been bought, have been flipped, have been turned into, and it's we got Caucasians moving in, and I mean it is what it is. But the market is crazy here now, so I promise you, like twice a week, I'm getting calls, emails from people. Yeah, we're just looking at the property here, and it's crazy because they'll even send it to like my father passed away in 2012. They still sending it to his name. Sending it to his name. Like, hey, Larry, we heard that you're the owner of this property. Like, nah. First of all, get your facts together because some things have changed. But and we're ready to make cash offers, and we want. I'm like, nah, I'm never selling. I need 80 million. If you got 80 million, then I'll flip. Then I'll sell. But other than that, I'm staying where I'm at. But look, real quick, I want to take it back a little bit because I want to talk a little bit about your journey. When you were, do you remember when you were younger, when you were a little girl, and people would ask you what you wanted to be when you grow up? Do you remember what you would tell them?
Yep. I wanted to be an obstetrician.
You couldn't even say obstetrician. You wanted, no, I'm just
I was pressed to say it because I learned how to spell it. And I would give obstetrician. I was pressed, right? I was pressed. So yeah, I wanted to be okay. But when I realized, like, ooh, I really have to pull babies out of that and get on, I was like, maybe not. But the medical field was intriguing to me, but my mother thought it was important that, if there's something you want to do, talk to somebody who's already doing it, right? So you can learn what, how it goes, what their everyday life is. And one thing that I found that most doctors have in common is that they're not that close with their family, and they don't get they don't get holidays off. They don't get like that bothers me. I need time with my family. I need all holidays with my family. I need to be off for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and there's no questions asked. Like, there's absolutely not. Yeah. So that was what took me away from that.
Okay. Yeah, and I always like to ask that question just because that there are a lot of people who base their idea of success on the plan, the original plan, and plans change a lot. So where you began to where you ended up, sometimes it's not always the same thing, and that's okay because you're doing really good for yourself, if I do say so myself. But I want to talk a little bit about a post that I saw on your IG page, the Cedrece _DC Luxury Realty. And I was on there, getting information to grill you about different. No, I'm just playing. But I did want to ask you about a post, something you posted a couple of days ago about the amount of homes on the market in the DC area. Yeah. How it's dropped more than 13% from a year ago, and just the change in the market and how it's been changing over the past maybe 10 years or so, and how that affects, people's ability to get houses, whether they should be buying now, things of that nature. So I noticed that you posted that and about the changes in the market. Why is it important that people understand the fluctuations in the market?
Well, because if they're not ready now, all is not lost. don't give up on the idea of home ownership just because you can't afford it now. Because what happens, I don't anticipate that prices will decrease significantly in DC, but I do believe that they are stable now. So I think it's ridiculous that these houses in Anacostia, in these neighborhoods, where would once sell for like $90,000 or $100,000 are now $800,000. Like that's a huge jump right there.
A lot of damn money, man.
Yeah.
Right. It is. And it's all because people want to sell their grandmama house and move somewhere else. But that's a whole other conversation. But I said that because prices in DC have skyrocketed, right? And they're astronomical. Nobody denies that. But I do think that they're not going up anymore. They're kind of just plateauing at this point. Okay. And that's it can be a good thing, but it's also a highly competitive market. So you do have people making offers and paying over asking price. So it's already $700,000 or $800,000 and they're paying $20,000 or $30,000 over. Wow. So I'm trying to incorporate nuggets of education on my page every day. I don't want to just have pictures, pretty pictures or pretty pictures of houses or pretty pictures of me or anything. It's just things you need to know and things you need to be prepared for. And the biggest thing is get your credit and your savings up.
To buy. What about to be a real estate agent? I mean, you go to school. I mean, what do you do?
Oh, yes. So the journey to becoming an agent, I did my courses online on the ceshop.com, and which was good because it's an engaging online course. I don't think I ever did well online, but it was like daily quizzes and they made it almost like a game. So I did that. I actually failed my real estate exam the first time I took it at MLK Library and came home and I cried. It was because I was expecting the format to be the same as it was at, in my online course. And it wasn't. It was the same questions and the same type of questions. I think I was just thrown off by that. But the second time I took it, I was good. And the first time I took the Maryland exam, I was good too. But it does require additional study outside of the courses, I think. And it helps when you shadow or you have a real estate agent friend who can, let you listen in on some conversations, of course, ones that are not confidential, and just see how contracts are put together and the things that you need to understand to do it. I think that would have been a lot more helpful for me when I did it. I have no problem helping wannabe agents, like people who want to do it, because guess what? It's enough money out there for everybody. It's a niche out there for everybody. So we all eat. It's no point in withholding or anything. So I'm open for questions in that regard.
Cool. What's awesome is how. So I think when it comes down to if you're willing to dare to try, like if you said you went and you did something online and you went down to the library and took a test, did not pass, but did not give up. You hear me?
Oh no. Something I wanted to do. Yeah, I knew it was something that I wanted to do. And it was something that I was interested in, having a mortgage and feeling like, damn, I wish this was explained to me, or I wish that I had the wherewithal to do the research and education myself and not put so much trust in my realtor. And I'm not saying that she's a bad realtor. I'm not saying that at all.
No, but you putting your trust in somebody with your money, and they're not interested in you. It's their pocket.
Yeah. And it's an old trick that they do. They take you to the houses that need some work, right? Or the houses that you say you want to see, but they know better. And then they take you to the new house, the new, more expensive house. And then that's house that you go see. And I'm like, oh, I want this big, bright, shiny house. Like, that's kind of what happened. But she ain't tell me. She was like, well, you're going to have a HOA fee and a condo fee, and they're just $50 each. I'm like, oh, okay, that's bad. That's only $100 more than my mortgage. I can afford that. I'm telling you, I 20 something years old, I didn't know that they could balloon like that. And so that's thing that's important. If you're going to get into these communities with HOAs and condo associations, you can join the board. You know, you can be a part of the decision making when it comes to these fees, and you can see how these changes are made. And unfortunately, it comes when people are delinquent in their fees and they don't pay their fees. And of course, it becomes the responsibility of the community and to keep things going. But they give you a whole expense list of the things that the associations pay for. I'm like, well, I could do this printing myself. Just give it to me. You ain't got to charge.
Right.
What high school should go to today?
Eastern, right?
I went to Eastern.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? I never
Anyway, I'm so
Where you go?
Where did I not go?
He's a child of the city, all over the place.
Okay.
Anyway, but sticking to your journey a little bit, I want to talk about specifically women in business and how historically women have had, I'll say, a rougher time in business.
That's what you say, Dave?
Then with their male counterparts. It's been well documented, some of the issues with pay, with just different facets of business, with bias and different things, ignorance and sexism, things like that. Was that ever a factor in your progression through realty, through getting your, becoming a realtor? Did you ever have any situations where you saw something that was like, this is a symptom of systematic sexism?
Nope. I think that as salespeople, women, and I could be biased, but women are better. I think that when you get into these realty homes, like these firms, like Long and Foster, and you get to the Compass, or you get to the Keller Williams management, they're always men. I've noticed that they're always men. My broker is a woman, but her boss and her boss's boss, like it's all men. But I haven't encountered that. Like on my level, like salesperson to salesperson, I noticed that women are killing it. They are. They use social media as a tool a lot better than men, and they're more relatable. So I haven't experienced that as a salesperson. I have experienced that as a budget analyst in the federal government. It's totally male dominated. So but not as a realtor.
Okay, I was laughing.
I want to say it's not even a black or white thing or a race thing, because I know so many successful Black female realtors who are just killing it and doing better than their male counterparts. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen a lot more Black female realtors than and probably over the last 10 years than but I was laughing because I saw Mike's face when you said that women are you think are better sales people because
I was thinking about how how I feel when I follow my wife into the house. Yeah, yes, Lord. It's my house.
Oh anyway, I'm not even going to know. I think that women have a softer approach. And I don't want to generalize. I'm not trying to make any, offensive generalizations, but I think that in being a woman is that we might display a bit more compassion and understanding, and actually get down on the level of our clients to explain it to them. That's not to say I haven't met any extraordinary male realtors, because I have. I'm just saying that I think that a woman puts a softer touch on it, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
This is why she's right. Because if a man and a woman go into a house to buy a house, trust and believe the woman is buying the house. Damn it, understand that. Like, so if you done got to the point where you buy the house, very few times is a man going into a house. This is my castle, kingdom. No, it's more like, baby, what you want? And if you're a real man,
it's so hard. We are taught and trained that, when you're dealing with a couple, don't make any assumptions about who's the breadwinner or who's the decision maker. You speak to both of them in general. I'm gonna tell you so often, and I'm guilty of it. I look at the woman because I'm like, She probably wear the pants. Like she probably
This mattress gonna go right here. He got to lay right here tonight. So guess what? That's where it's gonna be.
I do. And I also do that because I don't want there to be, any just misrepresentations on,
No, because you're beautiful. You don't be caught up with flirt with her man because you're beautiful. And guys are dogs. Like, oh yeah, she cute. Yeah, let's buy this house, honey. I got you. And that's the whole duality of it as a beautiful woman, because it's like she right. A woman can put on a pantsuit and kill anything if she wants to. It's because if she has enough charisma to communicate, hey, what is it? I don't care about your budget. I know what you can afford. What's here? Let's go. You came here to buy something, and I'm trying to appease that. A lot of times, what's pissed me off in sales is they push you so hard to be so full of shit. Like people who buy shit from me bought shit from me based on what I learned, what I found out, and what I share with them. And so I help them make an educated purchase, because most customers can walk in the store and touch their phone and answer any fucking question they ask you. What are your answers? What are your answers? Especially if you try to sell them something. I ain't trying to sell you myself. I am who the fuck I am. This is what it is. What you gonna do?
Well, isn't that part of being a good salesman? Is selling
all
the
of
people
it.
on the
It's
idea of yourself,
all of it to me.
Of you being trustworthy and someone that they
you sell yourself just as much as you sell your services. Like I want to make sure that when a person is dealing with me, that they do come to trust me, that they do view me as a resourceful person, that I'm going to get you the answers to your questions if I don't have them already, and that I'm going to make this process as easy and understandable as possible. So I that's important to me, because I don't want anybody to go through, what I felt like when, after buying a house and just, no, now I have to use it as a investment property, and it's cool. It does what it's supposed to do. So
I don't want to ask you nothing real heavy, but how do you how do you invest? I mean, where do you put? You got 10 grand.
So that's actually a really good question. Like I said, I'm coming up on the biggest sell of my career, and I'm trying to think, how do I want to invest it? So of course, I have small debt. I want to get rid of that. I want to renovate the house that I live in. But I also want to put a good chunk towards something. So right now I am just researching different stocks to get into, and also considering starting a real estate development company of my own, houses and flip them myself. The hard part for me with that is finding those builders, those contractors, and finding somebody reliable, getting a good team who can go in there and do the job quickly, so I can put.
I have an electrician and I have a plumber. And wow.
Right. Yeah, like I have those too, but I'm talking about the people who can go and put the give me a new kitchen, or like put down some floors and stuff. So I'd rather do it with a one-stop shop kind of thing, because I think it's cheaper or more cost efficient that way. But it's a lot of things that I'm thinking about now that
that you about to get this bag.
Well, no, I was gonna say, now that I'm a little older and I'm trying to plan for the future, because my goal is to retire with the federal government and do real estate full time, and I just want to make sure that I'm putting
you will
right things in place to set me up for that. So because I want to retire at 52 or 50s, and enough time to enjoy it and still have a job that isn't as demanding. So that's the good thing about real estate. You can make your own.
You want to.
Yeah, thanks.
Apparently Mike wholeheartedly believes in your ability to do what
if you it's about education. It's about knowing what the fuck is going on and how you navigate XYZ. She said that it started from buying her own shit, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm thinking $100, 50. Oh no, it's some other shit. And everybody goes through that. And if you can negate that from a sale, you can navigate that. You can sell it, flip it, and treat people right, make a living, and build. It's
I really do. I think if I had considered the fact that these condo fees and HOA fees would balloon that way, I might have made a different choice. And so, and I probably would have stuck to DC. And I would have waited. I would have, because he was gone for only a few months. So I had time. I had time to choose, but I felt like, oh, I better get it now because that's what my realtor is telling me. Oh, I better jump on it now because time is of the essence. That's the big phrase in real estate. But I wish I had a little bit more patience, or the knowledge to wait. Okay. Patient. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't rush any of my clients, and they might, some other people might like, well, you're gonna lose the sale. I'll be okay. I don't want to be fine. Something that they can't afford, or something that they'll be uncomfortable with, or something that they have to struggle with. It is important to me that people are prepared, whether financially, mentally, or what, it's important to me, because I need to be prepared. I don't like surprises at all. So
yeah, I always say it takes a certain type of person to realize the deficit, to understand that there's a deficit, whether it be knowledge or whatever the case may be. And first of all, realize it in yourself, like in your situation where you didn't have the knowledge, and having that knowledge would have changed a lot of how you moved. And when people recognize that, and then not only correct it within themselves, but say, let me take steps to make sure that other people don't go through what I went through, that takes a certain a certain level of nobility in that. And what you're doing is dope, and I appreciate it a whole lot. And I'm sure people do. I want to talk a little more about the journey you said you did the online courses and everything. So from the time that you started the courses to the time that you had your realty license, or your realtors, it's a license, right? You get that's how much I know about it. But anyway, so from beginning to end of that process, about how long did it take?
Studying probably took about 6 months, I think. It took a while, because it was at your own pace. It wasn't until I was almost done and I was like, all right, let me go ahead and get on through this. But beginning to end, it took 6 months from me studying to actually getting my license, about 6 months, I would say. And then after that, it was choosing which brokerage to go with. And I had always been a fan of Long and Foster. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't, a question. Of course, you have your Keller Williams, you have your Compass, you got your Century 21, and it's so many of them.
Right.
Yeah, those are the bigger ones, but there are so many. They have the private ones, and they have to hustle, and they don't always offer part-time opportunities. And I'm a part-time agent. But what I like about it is the time that I can devote to real estate, I really am able to devote to it. And that's just, a client at a time, or 2 clients at a time. And I'm able to do that. So I went with Long and Foster. I think that they have given me a great foundation, like good resources. Like they have classes every day, stuff to sharpen your skills, your negotiations, your contract writing skills. And I can appreciate that. I take advantage of that, and I'm grateful that that I did, because I also have a great mentor, my broker. Her name is Yanira Rodriguez. So I'm gonna go ahead and shout her out real quick.
Yeah.
Every time I write a contract, or every time I'm thinking, I'm like, I just want to run it past her. And she's like, girl, you know this. You already know this. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to call. So she's been there with me through a lot of it, and just helps me make sure that, all of my T's are crossed, my I's are dotted, and, which of course makes me a better realtor for my clients.
I'm a huge fan of the mentor-mentee relationship. Just the wealth of knowledge, and filling in that blank, or that deficit, like I said before, of things that things that you wish finding somebody who's done it, and done it at a level that you want to do it at, you know, that can give you those things, maybe even the things that they wish that they got, you know, when they were in the process. That's such a you know, a huge thing. So it's a dope process, you know, having a mentor that can show you the ropes and stuff. So it's great. So in that same vein, what's some of the best advice that you've ever gotten in this process? Do you remember any really good advice you got from anyone?
The best advice, and I get this in all areas of my life, because I think it may be a lesson I still need to learn, you know, and because I believe that God puts you he might put you through the same thing over and over again until you get it.
100%. Yeah.
My lesson is be patient. Be patient. And sometimes I want things like right now, or like I want to get to closing now. I just want to be done with the process now. I don't, you know, and because you miss things when you rush, you know, you
Definitely
leave things out, and I don't ever want to be negligent to my clients. And so I think that's probably the best advice that I got. And also not to compare, you know. So you looking on social media and you see other realtors kicking ass, right? And you're like, damn, I didn't sell this month, or I didn't have, and they're like having closings every, you know, week or something like that. So I'm like, I do have a whole job. Like I do have other things. There's a reason why I'm doing this way. And I shouldn't compare myself to anybody. Like I'm only in competition with myself. That was pretty good advice too.
Yeah, that's Mike. You don't have to raise your hands. This is a podcast. You can just ask
what's up,
questions.
What's up, Mike?
I'm not asking you how old you are. What I'm saying is, you said the plan is to retire at 52. You look a long ways away from that. What stops you from saying 52? Why not 5 years from now? Grind it, get it, and go.
Okay, great question. So I am 40, and I turned 40 in October. I'm good.
Me too. No, September.
Right? So are you a Libra? Curious. No? Okay, never mind.
I am. I'm a Libra.
Oh yeah, October 9th. So yeah, I think that the reason why I have it all planned out, I actually enjoy my government job. Like I said, I'm a budget analyst. I've been with the federal government for 16 years, and I want to retire with my full benefits.
So right. I got that. I got that.
Yeah, I'll be eligible, right? I'll be eligible after like 25 years or 30 years. Once I got that, I'll be good to go. Hopefully my agency will have an early buyout, and then I will be able to retire. But if not, I can do it anyway. I'll do it anyway.
Okay. So 52 is it though? That's where you're out of there at 52.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Let me just say, once I get 30 years in, and I'm 17, I'm 16, and I think it's 17 in July. Oh my God, next month. Yeah.
All right. 17 years. Congratulations. So what are some of the obstacles that you faced in the process of becoming a realtor? Were there any obstacles, basically anything that stood in your way, or anything that you had to persevere and get past?
Not becoming a realtor, but like the first year or so, TOPA was probably the heart. TOPA is the Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act in Washington, D.C.
I'm glad you explained that, because Mike was about to say, who is TOPA? I'm whip his ass. No, I'm just playing.
TOPA, man, listen, it's a beast. So the concept is that it's tenant friendly and not owner friendly. So you can have a tenant living in your house and not paying any rent, but you can't evict because you have to give you can't evict because you have to give them an opportunity to purchase, unless they are disabled or have some kind of disability, a senior citizen, and stuff like that. So I had a client who was also a relative, trying to sell a house to satisfy a tax lien. And so it was unfortunate because, of course, the IRS could have come in and just seized the property, but you have a property that can sell for like $600,000 or $700,000. Of course, you want to, get that, satisfy the IRS, and still have a nice cushion. But unfortunately, the tenant that was living in the house was I'm just gonna go ahead and say he was an asshole. He was very mean to a senior citizen, and ultimately he had to be bought out to move. He complained about the condition, took my client to court, back and forth. And of course, my client is like, if you don't like it here, just leave. Well, no, because I know you trying to sell. I have rights. I have tenant rights. I have TOPA rights, and you and I'm like, oh, okay.
You should call somebody from Southeast. We took care of that. It's all right.
I cannot do that.
Right. You can't say she can do that.
But all that. Like, you ain't gotta move.
But it was that kind of situation where I wanted to fight on behalf of my client, because I'm like, this is insane that somebody will just hijack your property, and they can do so legally.
In DC?
So I think that was one, like, I'm in DC and I'm going to court with my client. Like, when I go home and I'm like, it's not looking good, and I'm crying with my client, but luckily I was able to find a buyer for the house who was able to front the money and buy him out and just get reimbursed at the end. So he was a developer, and he ended up buying the house and turning it into an amazing property. So it worked out. My client still walked away with a good profit, and the tenant was paid off. So I guess he's okay too. But I think he was on drugs, and I hope he smoked it all up. But I'm not gonna say that. That's me.
That's being real.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
But he put my client and my client's family and my family through hell. So that was one thing that I'm like, okay, I got through that. And also I learned a lot in that process, a lot about the city, a lot about the court process with real estate related issues. I learned how to serve people with TOPA documents and in what order, because it's a whole lot. Like, they make things difficult, in my opinion, the city does, for owners of your home, and they make it easy for people to come and squat in your house and then assume ownership. Like, it's like that in DC. That's how I see it. So to get through that made me feel really good as a realtor, and I think I did that my first year out. So I learned a lot.
Yeah, that's a good thing about things like that. Yeah, that's a good thing about going through those things that challenge you is the lessons you can take from them. So if you look at all those situations as learning experiences, it'll minimize your regrets and different things like that. So it's dope to have those situations, even though while you're going through it, it sucks. It's like, oh man, but once you get through it, like you said.
I thought I was gonna have an ulcer. I'm like, my tummy hurt, worried, and I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? But you're right. We got through it. I learned the lessons that I was supposed to learn, and ultimately, it did make me a better realtor. And at the end of the day, the house sold before it was gonna get seized, and I was able to get my client some money. So
that's dope. That's dope. Congratulations.
It was one that I took a lower commission. I took a lower commission on that one. So I think I took 4%, and I was willing to take 3, but my broker said, if you take any lower than that, because the standard is 4. I mean, the lowest is 4. It's gonna come out of your commission, that extra 1%. So I was like, no, we'll do 4.
Right. So, but yeah, it's dope that it all worked out, though. That's great. Yeah. That's great. So,
what's the difference between a real estate agent and a broker?
The broker is the house. So, my broker is Long and Foster, and my manager, who's also a broker, is Yanira. So she is able to sponsor me as a realtor and just be there so that I'm not making any errors and omissions, because we pay into that fund. If we do make an error and omission and we get sued, it comes out of that. So a broker assumes the responsibility for the realtor, and it's their responsibility to train the realtor.
What's their fee?
So it's the same. So as a realtor, we split our commission with our broker. And so the split is determined by the plan that you choose. So let's say, for instance, if I'm a new broker and I want to do, you know, a 50-50 split up into a sales amount of 300,000 or a sale amount of 100,000. I'm just being thrown out arbitrary numbers here. Mm-hmm. But if I sell this property, this $400,000 house, I have to split that 6% commission, not only with my broker, but with the selling agent. So the buyer's agent.
Cold, that's cold. So how I do all that shit? How am I the broker and the agent?
You want to be everything. Mike want to be the broker, the agent.
Yes, that agent, they get their 3% and we get our 3%. So
how do I be all that? How do I become an agent and a broker?
You can't. That's not illegal. That's is that
no. You can, and a broker is still an agent. So you can't become a broker until you've had so many years as an agent. And if I'm not mistaken, you have to have 2 years as an agent to become a broker. But
by law?
By law, correct. By law, and that's national. You can't just become a broker. You can't just, oh, I got my license today and I'm gonna be a broker tomorrow. No, you have to put something in. And because, like I said, the broker is the one who assumes responsibility for other agents, you would want to be knowledgeable about what you do and the consequences for what you don't know or what you do wrong.
Makes sense.
So we want to have some experience there.
Makes sense, definitely. So I want to ask you a little bit about something we talked about before we came on. You have a 3-year-old daughter, right?
Yeah, my angel.
So, yeah. So how has becoming a mom, affected your drive, your work basically as a realtor, or has it in any way?
It has. It has tremendously, and I want to say, it's made me go harder. That's for sure, because I want to, of course, spend as much time with her and be there to capture those moments, her first words, her first step, her first everything and everything. But I also want to be a good woman, a good mommy that she can look up to professionally as well, because I want her to have ambition and drive and know that, if mommy's out here busting a hump to make sure that I'm, good, I want to be able to do that for my children and for myself when mommy isn't here. That's the lesson that I got from my mom, who was also an entrepreneur. And that's the lesson that I want to pass on to her. So I definitely work harder. One good thing that came out of this pandemic, and there aren't many good things, but one good thing is the ability to telework, that I am home and that she sees me all day. I have to cut out every so often to go show a house, or, I have to go to the basement and hide for a couple hours while I'm working on some things. But for the most part, I spend a lot of time with her. And I can't wait for her to get older and go with me on showings and to really explain to her the business. I don't want to make her a realtor, but I hope she has and that, it could be a family thing. So that's just, I'm working on. So.
That would be dope. Yeah. That's always a parent's kind of, you want your kids to follow in your footsteps. So you just want to make sure that they're doing something that's gonna have them good.
Something right? Good. And I want her to find her own. But I would be honored if
I want my girls to find their bonnet in the bed. Okay.
I'm down with you.
All right. Moreover. It is awesome. It is, as they get older, like I still am in a time frame of 8 months to like 4 years, 5 years old. My oldest, everything she said was so cute. It was so cute. Now she's 16. It's like, Dad, please, leave me. It's awesome still, but it's like you cherish sometimes.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous for her teenage years.
It doesn't sound like she's gonna fall far from her tree, unlike you, and I think she'll be fine. She'll be fine. She'd be awesome. And honestly,
I'm hoping
if you give her the
I was
tools,
a tomboy as a.
You say you were a tomboy?
Yeah, and that's the goal. I was a bit of a tomboy when I was.
I feel like I remember you when you were younger, and you were the tomboy. But you said when you were little, though.
No, I think you remember me when I was becoming a girl, like I was hitting puberty. But I think before that, I wanted to be outside with the boys, and I wanted to hang, and I was always falling. And I have like so many scars, and I'm looking at them now like this isn't cute. But she's the same way. She's so rough. She's so active and busy. Like just this weekend, she got bit by a dog and she fell out of a chair and got a knot on her head. And I'm like, what happened? Like I'm here and I'm sitting here watching her. She's within reach.
Did somebody shoot the dog?
Nobody shot the dog. The dog is like this big. So it's
that dog would have been on the grill with some rice and some squash. Oh, you're not biting my daughter. I'm
not going to engage in that because you don't know how many people are dog lovers. And
you bite my dog. If you bite my daughter, I don't care who you are. If you bite my daughter, you got to go, Shawty. You got to go. How
this happened?
She okay?
Man, she's really something every day. It's something.
She's not scared of dogs right
now.
No. Okay, good.
No, that's the scariest part about her is that she's not scared of things I think she should be scared of. So she's just be gone. Like chill out, sit down.
That's good though. That fearlessness.
We generation X, they generation Y. Why are we here? We don't give a fuck neither.
You know.
I ain't mad.
She'll be the one. She's like, I'm gonna look. She's like, I'm gonna look inside that alligator's mouth. I'm like, you really no, you scared of
or the
dog.
Don't
do that.
Or the dog.
I'm gonna do it. What's the worst can happen? Like she has that attitude. I'm like,
what's the worst? That's that fearlessness though. That innocence that provides you with that fearlessness. So
I ain't with it.
Yeah, it's tough for the parent though. But I do want to ask you without getting too personal about it, but what's the biggest difference between Cedrece before motherhood and Cedrece after motherhood?
All right, I'm only hesitating because I'm like, should I be really real?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't want you spilling no, secrets that's gonna get you in trouble. Somebody gonna see it, and you're gonna get a 2-page text.
Show. You on this show right here.
Okay, I think that before motherhood, I was very social, and I was a party girl. It just is what it is. I was always at the club. I was always drinking. I was always having fun, enjoying life.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I mean that's just the truth. That's what it is. It was also. I was always driven. I was always ambitious. I always had things that I wanted to do, but I was like, I work hard, play hard, work hard. That was my whole attitude. Now, like after motherhood, she exhausts me. So I can't even have a good cocktail without going to sleep at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Like it's about to be my bedtime, y'all. So like that's how it is.
You said she's 3, right?
Yes. She's 3.
She's still sick something in the wall and kill herself. You gotta go to bed. You're right.
I'm actually nervous because she's down there with her dad, like, a little too long. I'm like, he's crying.
No, man, it's her dad. We love.
When she fell out, I told you she fell earlier today and just bust her daggone head. She was with him. I was sitting there, but I was working and he was playing with her and talking with her. And, I'm not saying that he's not attentive because he's actually bomb. Like he's a good dad, and I'm super lucky. Super lucky. He has other, and he's bomb. There are things, like he gives me parenting skills and tips and like help me to be a better mom. But he's very like, if she falls, she falls. And I'm like, no, I don't want her to fall. Like,
you want to know why?
Okay, she'll live.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because she got to fall. She got to fall. Because if she never fall, she'll never get up. She won't get up.
I know, but
And
the mama in me just like, I don't want to see her hurt. I don't want to hear her cry.
As a woman, you got to know you're gonna fall so many times. But if you don't give up, baby girl, you never will. And as your daddy, I'm here. And you here, you gonna get up. And the time when you can't get up, guess who's gonna be right there for you? But right now you can get up and you will get up, because if you don't put that in them, a man or a little boy or a little girl, it's not in them. And that's part of the problem with the millennials. They punk ass motherfuckers. This is soft. Cause you want, we coddle them. Oh no, get your ass up and let's keep moving.
That's the biggest difference between my parenting and his too. I probably am the coddler. I am the one, come here, baby, let me hold you.
That's okay.
Well, yeah, I think you need that balance though, right?
That is a necessary part of the equation. Yes, indeed. As long as you recognize it, and listen, we need, as a little boy, it's nothing like that from your mom. Listen, I don't know what it's like to be a little girl, but I am pretty.
I think people who miss that's the guys that become like serial killers and stuff. But anyway, it's 8:30, so we're going to wrap it up. I do want to ask you the two questions that I usually ask all of my guests. I always enjoy the answers that I get. It's kind of introspective. So if you had an opportunity to talk to a younger version, let's say 12-year-old Cedrece, if you could, all the knowledge that you've gained through your life, all the wisdom, everything you've been through, everything you have now, if you could get in a time machine and go back and talk to, and I like asking this question to people who have kids too, because it is to a certain extent like you are going to be talking to, yourself at some time and giving that knowledge. So if you could go back and talk to yourself at 12 years old, what would that conversation be like? What would you say to her?
I would tell my 12-year-old self to love yourself a little bit more. Give yourself some grace. Like I was very hard on myself, dealing with a lot of daddy issues. And I would try to help myself understand that he's human too, and give him some grace and forgive him. I will be fine. I wish I could hug my, and you 12 years old, I don't know, what is it about that age? So much was in transition at that age, but I remember being 12 and I remember what I was going through. I'm like, my hair falling out and I'm stressed out for a 12-year-old. Why is a 12-year-old stressed out? But that's what I would tell myself. Like, wow. Hey, love yourself, know that it doesn't matter, how any man treats you, not even your dad. And to forgive him. Because I think if I forgave him sooner, if I didn't hold so much anger, I might have been a bit better. So we are right now.
Okay, cool. But yeah, it's weird how those lessons that only time and like we said before, maturation can teach you. But it's stuff you got to go through in your life to kind of get that. So yeah, that's a dope answer. Yeah, I always like the answers I get to that one. And the second one is being a realtor and in all the positions you have, you're in a position where there a lot of people looking at you, and then you have between like your Instagram and different things, you have followers, you have people looking at you a lot. When people see Cedrece Watson, what is it that you hope they see?
From a picture. So that's funny that you say that, because I'm trying to work on my social media so that I am getting the best version of me out there, like a good image of what I'm about. Because I don't want anybody in my DMs thinking that there's anything else going on. It's just me.
That's gotta be a tough thing though, right? And I don't ask this question a lot, but for a lot of women, in life, I've noticed that women have that's an issue that you guys have to deal with a lot. It's like not being taken seriously, or people who look at you and assume that
sexism, Dave.
Yeah. I mean,
and that actually is a good point to a previous question of yours that I have experienced. That a lot of guys that I'm thinking had me coming out and showing them houses and everything, and I'm like, y'all really don't want a house. You don't want to go through this process, or you're not ready, and you just call me out here. So yeah, I'm trying to take you out. No, I don't want to go out.
Right, right. That's,
I have experienced that, and that's not cool. So I do hope that my page conveys the professional that I am, and the professional that I aspire to be. And that's all. That's all. I'm not trying to do, those pictures for likes, or, have on anything provocative that will just bring somebody in. No, no. It's really
You're
business.
selling houses. You're not selling. I mean,
Yeah, and that's the image that I want to convey, especially on social media.
cool.
And that I'm confident, that I know, I know a little something about what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 5 years now. I think I got some good experience. I don't want to be a broker right now, but I think that when I retire from the federal government and I'm able to commit to real estate full time, I will want to become a broker.
is that another way of saying when you make enough bread to say, you know what, I can eat all the bullshit if it don't fall through, if it fall through? Like how much do you have to eat? I mean, let's say you and I go get a house. You're the agent, and Dave's the broker. I don't know. What I'm saying is, as a broker, you assume how much of the money do you assume if it falls through? Because that's obviously the risk, and if you can take that risk on, so I mean, ballpark. Forgive me for asking, because I feel like I haven't been in.
The thing is, as a realtor, we don't get paid until closing, right? So all the risk. I can work with the client for years. I hope that never happens, but we can go out and look at houses, and I'm showing houses wasting gas way out in Baltimore or Gambrills, Maryland, which is a good 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm going out there every weekend, putting mileage and gas on my car. Yes, you can file those on your taxes, but it's not the same. You assume all of that until closing, and that's my incentive to let me hurry up and narrow down the search for you, making sure that I find the houses that meet all of your criteria if possible. It makes the process that much easier, so that I won't have to drive as much or spend a whole lot of time. And if you have a listing, you want to make sure that you put the house's best foot forward, whether that's staging or asking. And the seller usually takes care of that, and those costs can come out of closing as well, but that will be at their expense. But it's a lot of time that you spend and not get paid for until closing. And closing is, of course.
If and when we want to find you, where do we find you? What's your handles?
So I am on Instagram, and it's Cedrece_DC Lux Realty. I'm also on Instagram with the same handle, or Ree Watson. Ree is my family name, and then I didn't realize it was still on there, and I thought I changed it, but it's okay. You can call me Ree. But yeah, I'm not on any other social media but Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, and the DC Luxury Realty, spell that for the people.
Yes, DC Lux Realty, DC LUXEREALTY.
All right. Yeah, cool. So
no. Spell obstetrician and shit. Go ahead. Now I'm playing.
Hey,
I was so serious about that too. I'm trying
I can spell that too. I know it feel good, don't it? When you lyric, like you can spell some shit. Minutia. He said minutia. I was still pissed off about that. Minutia little shit.
Oh wow.
You mad at me for using the SAT words?
I'm mad that you tried
using those SAT words.
Right.
I beat people up who do the SATs. How about that?
Hey, Cedrece, thank you so much for hanging out and putting up with our goofiness for an hour and a half. I appreciate you. This was real educational. No. Thank you so much for taking the time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed tonight. Thank you. I needed that. I needed this.
Definitely. I appreciate you, man. So on behalf of myself, Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, Aisha, who I think is still with us. She might have had a work meeting or something. And Just Mike and our illustrious guest, the one and only Cedrece Watson. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Neighborish Livecast. We'll be back next week with more guests, more information, more education, and more fun. Have a great week. Take care of yourselves and each other, and